Hey fraggers, welcome back to the channel. It's been 5 months since my latest video, and I really hope that this is the time that I can dedicate myself to this channel and really get back to uploading constantly, or at least regularly. So please consider liking, subscribing and commenting on this video. We're going to be talking about Season 7 and Battlefield 2042. I would really like to know what you think about it so far, about Season 7 and Crimson Front event. Please let me know down in the comments below. And let's move on. Let's get to the point of this video, to the meat and potatoes. Season 7 is going to be the last season, so Battlefield 2042 is over. I don't know, I don't really feel that sorry about it. Just by the way, I've almost forgot to mention, you can see me grind a weapon, a vault weapon, MP443 from Battlefield 3. I'm just trying to get it to tier 1. I know it's a vault weapon and you don't get any skins for that, which I think is kind of something that they should have fixed long ago, but of course they're not gonna do it now. But anyway, Battlefield 2042 is over. This is the last season. After that, only quality of life updates and maybe events as well, until 2025, when the next Battlefield is set to release. Well, hopefully it will release in 2025. But Battlefield 2042, for me personally, it never actually appealed to me. It never felt right. I've never had any sort of connection to this game, at least until the moment when they added back classes, and it launched with no class system, and it looked more or less like Call of Duty, like COD. It just didn't feel right. I didn't enjoy it. I remember I quit playing Battlefield 2042 for a couple of months. I think I came back to this game just shortly before they actually reintroduced classes. Don't remember when it was, but it actually took them a while to do it. But anyway, that's when I actually got back to the game, and nonetheless it doesn't feel right. I mean, I know they work with the specialists and they make sure that those specialists belong to the 4 classes that we've always had, but for some reason they didn't bother to actually separate the weapons, to make weapons restricted by the class category, which is a bit strange because every single Battlefield game had that, even Battlefield 5. But now we have specialists that on paper they belong to different classes, and they do different things, but you can still equip any weapon you want. And especially for some classes like the recon, it just feels odd, really. It just feels strange, like when you can play as a recon specialist or character and you can be using a machine gun, for instance. That's just weird, and it doesn't feel right as well. So Battlefield 2042 is over, and I'm not really so sad, because EA, I think they said that they've promised to deliver 4 seasons of content. So essentially people have been talking about Battlefield 2042 getting cancelled or finished after that, and for many people these 3 seasons, so season 5, 6 and 7, came as big surprises. For me personally, not really, because if you think about it, the maps, the new ones that we've got, they've actually had to go back and rework every single base map, because those maps were so bad that no one really wanted to play them, and it was just impossible to play Battlefield 2042. It launched with the worst maps possible, and they had to go back and remake them. So in that regard, I'm pretty sure that these maps that we've got, I mean Redacted, Reclaimed, now Haven, I'm pretty sure those maps were actually scheduled to release in the previous seasons that the EA promised us to deliver. But because they had to go back and rework the base map, they managed to spread those maps across more seasons, and that's how we got 7 seasons. That's how we got 7 seasons at the end. Anyway, I don't feel so sad about Battlefield 2042 getting cancelled or that it's over, and it's not because I'm looking forward to the next game. No, I mean, with Battlefield 5 happened something similar. But with that game, that came as a big surprise. I was not expecting them to finish that game, to end it, and support to stop new content. I was really looking forward for them to release the Eastern Front, to see the Russians, and of course to see Normandy and so on. And after the Pacific Theater expansion, the DLC that we got, I think it was called Giant Awakening or something like that, everyone was looking forward to Battlefield 5. It was starting to look like a very good game, a decent Battlefield 5 game. Not the best, of course, but at the very least, a very good and a solid Battlefield title. And then they announced that they were shifting their focus, their resources to the next Battlefield, which was slated to be Battlefield 2042. And it was actually very disappointing for me, because at the end of its journey, actually liked Battlefield 5. I think it had the potential to become a very good game. And I still think it's a good game, but you can see that there is a lack of content. And with Battlefield 2042, I don't really feel that it doesn't have a lot of content in terms of weapons and maps, of course, but in terms of the story, you see, I don't feel like they should add something else. I think the story of Battlefield, the journey, the road of Battlefield 2042, it's like the end of the line. It's the end of the line. There's nothing really that I'm looking forward to with this particular game, and that is why I'm not really so sad about it getting finished, unlike Battlefield 5. At the same time, like I've said, I'm not looking forward to the next game. I know they've said that they have so many studios working on the next Battlefield game, and we already know that it doesn't mean that the next game is going to be good. And it's not just Battlefield, just look at Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure some of the latest Call of Duties like MW2 or Modern Warfare 3, they have the largest amount of people working on them, and still, those Call of Duties cannot be called the best games ever. They're probably like somewhere in the middle at best, and having many studios work on a game, especially studios that have never worked on that particular game, I don't think that's a good idea. So I'm not really excited about the next game, the next Battlefield game. The past two games, Battlefield 5 and 2042, each one was actually worse than the previous one. So now we look back to Battlefield 5 and say, oh, you know what? Battlefield 5 was actually a good game. I know it's going to be a guess, nothing more, but it's quite possible that next year, in 2025, when the next game releases, many of us will be looking back to 2042 and saying, oh, you know what, 2042 is actually a good game. And I don't know where this franchise is headed, what's the direction it's going to take. I really don't know. I mean, with the specialists, that was actually something that I did not expect. So they kind of said that they want to go back to the roots and explore the original opportunities that the previous titles offered, which is the best thing they can do, actually. But at the same time, I'm just not optimistic. I'm very cautious about the next game, and I'm certainly not going to pre-order it like I did with Battlefield 2042 when I heard that it was going to be a Battlefield 4 sequel, which is, it's clearly not a sequel to Battlefield 4, except for Irish maybe. That's the only thing that connects this game to Battlefield 4. So I'm not really optimistic about the next game. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think about Season 7. In one of the next videos, I'm going to talk about the Crimson Front event, which I think is a decent event, and upload a video about it. But in the meantime, please let me know what you think about Season 7 and how you feel about Battlefield 2042, because we can say that its journey is complete. It's over. We should not be expecting any crazy changes taking place in the future. This game is going to stay as it is. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.